Renueva tu estilo de otoño en JCPenney. Descubre grandes ofertas en modelos versátiles que puedes combinar con piezas tuyas, como un blazer y pantalón de pierna ancha Worthington con tu blusa favorita, o un suavecito suéter St. John's Bay con tu camiseta preferida. Y combina una chaqueta Stafford con uno de los clásicos en tu closet. Con un par de piezas versátiles puedes crear múltiples looks únicos y extraordinarios. Eleva tu estilo de otoño y ahorra. JCPenney. Vale la pena.
Say what you like about Vladimir Putin, but someone had to bring the brutal war criminal Yevgeny Prigozhin to justice. I'm Harriet Langley-Swindon. I'm still at the Edinburgh Fringe, and this is Non-Censored. Hello and welcome to Non-Censored, the podcast that wraps up all the best bits from my very real daily radio show into one easy-to-digest highlights package. I'm still talking to you from the Edinburgh Fringe, where I'm performing my show, That's Politainment, 8 p.m. at the Pleasance Courtyard. And I'm joined, as ever, by my producer, Martin. And what a show we have for you this week, eh, Martin?
Well, yes, indeed. And I'm here too, working on Buffy Revamped, which is on at the EICC at 8:15 p.m. But we're not just at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. We're also going to be at the London Podcast Festival on the 7th of September, which is just a couple of weeks away.
That's right, and we can announce our third guest. As well as being joined by Suella Braverman and Sir Keir Starmer, we are also delighted to welcome the Reverend Jerry Berry back to the show. Now, you might remember him from the show back in December, where he explained what was wrong with the Church of England. Let's quickly refresh your memories of that.
The ministers and all of the people in the church, they're not saying the right things anymore. It used to be Christ is the best, Christ is the one, etc., etc. Now it's all, I've seen on Facebook that all the preachers, they're all talking about, the sugar babes.
Oh, goodness, no, sugar babes, sorry, not in a place of worship. Not in a place of worship.
Absolutely not.
I mean, there's a lot of sugar babes as well.
There's been about 400 sugar babes and only one Christ.
And you will be able to ask the Good Reverend, as well as Sir Keir and Suella, questions. In fact, if you email your question in advance to noncensoredpodcast@gmail.com, we will pick our 2 favourite questions and give those people 2 free tickets each.
But also buy tickets from kingsplace.co.uk, just in case your questions are bad.
Yes, that's a good idea, actually. We'll announce the winners on next week's show, and then you'll have no excuse not to buy tickets.
But let's move on to this week's show. And after a few weeks away, we were delighted to welcome Eshaan Akbar back to the show. So much so, we have an Eshaan special, getting his views on 3 different big stories. We opened with his segment, Hot and Spicy Takeaway of the Week, and this week he offered his views on the Republican presidential debates. Let's take a listen. Right, Eshaan, it's time for your Hot and Spicy Takeaway of the Week.
Well, I'm very excited about this Hot and Spicy Takeaway because it is very hot and spicy based on the person I'm going to talk about. Now, you may be aware that over the pond in the United States of America, the first Republican debate amongst the presidential candidates took place, and it was a fiery, hot and spicy affair. And there were 3 winners, I would say, across the debate. There was Nikki Haley. She did very, very well regarded, and some people really like her. People underestimate her because she's a woman. Mike Pence, who is a bit of a lifer in the US political system. But the one that I want to talk about...
always there in the corner.
Always there, little Mike Pence, little creepy Mike Pence. But the one I want to talk about, and this is my hot and spicy takeaway, is fellow Brownman, Vivek Ramaswamy. Let's have to say it. Vivek Ramaswamy. He is.
Right. I don't know if there's that many R's in his surname, but
that's how you pronounce it.
Is that how it's pronounced? Okay, right. Well,
so would you mind having a go at pronouncing his name as I have done?
I just say Vivek Ramaswamy. I think that.
No, Vivek Ramaswamy.
I mean, it's actually quite a beautiful, melodious name,
Ramaswamy.
Okay, Ramaswamy is not his name, but there we go. Anyway, so Vivek Ramaswamy was the standout candidate. He's never run for public office. He actually didn't even vote for a president from 2004 to 2020. But he was quick-witted, he was smart, he was on the money, he had some wonderful jabs for a few of the other candidates. He suggested Mr. Christie was auditioning for a show on left-leaning news channel MSNBC, and that Nikki Haley was angling for spots on the Board of Defence Contractors with her positions on Ukraine. He basically said, I'm the only candidate who's not been bought and paid for. And actually, a lot of the public, Fox News people were like, he's brown, but he's good. And now we might be seeing this global powerhouse movement of Indian men at the top of politics and tech. You'll have Ramaswamy, Sunak, Modi, US, UK,
Do you think
India.
this is the time for Indian men, Eshaan? Do you think it's your moment?
Well, I mean, I'm not Indian, but yes, it's the time for Indian men. I'm not Indian.
What?
He's English, isn't he? That's the. I mean, that's.
I'm English.
An English.
Why did we apply him and put him as diversity?
Well, I didn't
then?
like that name from the start, but it's.
Yeah, I've never liked that name.
Oh, I thought everyone liked that name. It's very witty name, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, is it witty? Is it called the brown guy diverse?
I mean, it's. Save it for ApologyWatch, Eshaan. This is a hot and spicy.
Yes, you're right. You'll be apologising.
I will never apologise for anything.
Anyway, the CEO of Google, Microsoft, brown men, brown people are taking over the world. Soon enough, chicken tikka masala will not be the national dish of the UK. It will be the national dish of the world.
No, Eshaan, that's a very sweet little idea that you have, but it's not going to happen. I mean, for starters, in the Republican debate, Trump is still going to win, isn't he? Trump's still there. Everyone loves Trump. He's funny. He's witty. He's orange. He's got everything.
But also, I've got to say, you know what else is funny and witty and orange?
What?
Chicken tikka masala.
Thank you very much.
Every time it is. I love it.
Yes.
I think Eshaan's actually speaking some real good sense here because it is one of my favourite dishes.
It's between that and korma, isn't it?
Just this week, India sent chicken tikka masala to the south of the moon.
What?
Right?
What?
They sent chicken tikka masala to the south of the moon. That was the name of the rocket.
Who ordered?
It's this alien.
Is that Deliveroo?
Yes. Deliver
Their
moon.
life on the moon.
Deliver moon.
And they also like curry. Anyway, listen, we're getting off topic. So I think although it's nice that you're picking out one of your friends in the Republican debate, I think really all these people they're trying, but none of them can reach the dizzy heights of Trump. He's so clever and verbose, and they haven't got a patch on him.
Isn't Trump going to be in jail?
Oh, that doesn't matter, though, does it? That doesn't matter.
There are other popular leaders that have been jailed.
Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
Jean Valjean.
Yes.
He only stole a loaf of bread, though, not an election.
Yes.
He didn't attempt to steal an election.
Oh, but they're much of a muchness, aren't they, really?
Fidel Castro?
Well, no, I don't. No, well, no, I mean, no, we don't like him.
The man in the Iron Mask?
Yes.
Did he end up being king? That was Leonardo DiCaprio, wasn't it?
And Paddington, who everyone loves, also went to prison.
Paddington 2. I mean, still, you've seen Paddington 2, haven't you, Eshaan?
Yes, I have seen Paddington 2.
Best movie ever made.
The sequel to Paddington. I've seen Paddington 2 and I've seen the sequel.
Oh, Eshaan, I don't understand that at all.
I don't think we should be joking about Paddington 2. It's a great movie. It's a cinematic masterpiece.
What does it all mean?
We seem to have slid somewhat off course here. I mean, I don't see how Paddington is related to the US Republican
What he is,
debate.
because it's an outsider. It's an outsider who is brown, who is going to lead the world, Paddington is an outsider and he's brown. Vivek Ramaswamy is an outsider and he's a bear.
Well, another outsider, of course, certainly back in 2016, was Donald Trump. He still plays on being an outsider.
Plucky outsider.
Well, he was orange. He wasn't quite brown enough. And actually, he had run for president before he became president. What you want and what you've got with Ramaswamy is someone who knows absolutely nothing about government. And he's brown. Lovely. And so, like Rishi Sunak, Ramaswamy, Modi, another outsider. Modi was a poor guy from Gujarat. You know, these people are leading the world. And finally, the colonizers' behavior is coming home to roost. They're taking over.
No,
we're taking over.
I don't like these colonizing, blaming, you know. I don't think it's on.
Yes.
Well, it's happening.
We were just trying to do our best.
Well, I mean, I'm going to reserve judgment until I find out what Vivek's
You're going to reserve judgment on colonialism?
No, not on that. No, I was just talking about Paddington again. I'm sorry, I've been distracted ever since we mentioned it. I think I'm due a rewatch.
Oh, right.
To be honest.
So when I'm talking about colonialism, you're thinking about a fictional bear?
I mean, I suppose Marmalade.
He's not fictional in our hearts, Eshaan.
Okay.
And that's where it counts.
That's where it counts. Well, look, in conclusion, the hot and spicy takeaway is this. Vivek Ramaswamy is going to win the US presidential election. And Vivek Ramaswamy, Rishi Sunak, and Narendra Modi are going to take over the world alongside the CEOs of Microsoft and Google. And finally, Brown Supremacy will reign supreme.
Well, that's very interesting, Eshaan, but none of that sounds remotely true. Now, we're still at the Edinburgh Fringe, aren't we, Martin?
Oh, yes, indeed. Buffy revamped the EICC. Still got shows on Friday, Saturday and Sunday at 8:15 p.m.
Martin, it's very rude to plug that show when you know it clashes with my show. That's Politainment, 8 p.m, Pleasance Courtyard.
Well, I mean, I don't know, Harriet. I feel like the Edinburgh Fringe is all about creative ambition and artistic intent, and performers can support each other's work without detracting from their own. But so what if someone sees you instead of me, or the other way around? I mean, there are loads of audience members to go around, and what matters isn't getting on the sold-out board. What matters is that we're all making the best shows you can make.
No, Martin, the point is to have the best show by selling the most tickets and winning all the awards.
Right.
Anyway, there was a big awards announcement to the Edinburgh Fringe, and so we brought back our well-established segment, Is It Woke?, which started well before the Daily Mail launched their WokeWatch feature. Lord Rothermere, you may well be hearing from our lawyers.
If we can track you down, obviously. I mean, he's not a resident in Britain for tax purposes, apparently.
So, here we go. Awards. Are they woke? What we want to talk about today is the Comedy Award nominations at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, where both myself and producer Martin currently are. And it is disgusting. It's disgusting. Throughout the nominees for Best Show, there is absolutely zero diversity.
Well, I mean, I'd have to disagree. We've got Ahir Shah. He's up for Best Comedy Show. I mean,
no.
Anya Magliano.
No.
The whiter sounding brown man?
This is why it's good to have Eshaan on, because he can say these things that we can't. No, Eshaan, the thing is, all of these nominees, there is not a single right-winger.
Ah, right.
Not a single one.
No.
Right.
Well.
Yes.
It's disgusting.
Well, look. Okay, I completely understand your frustration. For the benefit of the listeners, for those who are unaware of the Edinburgh Comedy Award, it is the most prestigious award in comedy. Anybody nominated goes on to, millions and millions, fame and fortune and tours, and they are on the lips of the public everywhere. Ooh. And this year's list was announced for Best Show. And, when you look at it from the outside in, I tell you what, it looks diverse. as already mentioned, Ahir Shah, a brown man, Ania Magliano, a woman, Emmanuel Sanubi, a black man.
Okay,
yes?
I don't think
then
we
you've
need
got
to just
Janine
name
Hariri,
all of that.
a pregnant man.
Disgusting.
Yes? And then you've got...
No, don't call it that.
What, a pregnant man?
Can't have pregnant people on awards. Awful.
Well, technically, it's
Absolutely woke gone mad.
I do have to agree. It does seem like a little bit of cheating because that's two people that have been nominated in the same nomination, isn't it?
It is, because Janine Hariri is actually, pretty much 9 months pregnant. It is two people.
Can I just say, I knew this would happen. When they started letting women breastfeed in restaurants, I thought this is where it begins. Next, they'll be nominated for awards, and look at it.
But you also see there are 3 straight white men, and Harriet, I have to say, I'm surprised that you didn't notice. Ian Duncan Smith has been nominated.
What?
Oh, no.
No, he's not in there,
No,
Eshaan. I would know. I'd be
Ian
excited.
Smith.
Yes, I'm not sure it's quite the same Ian Smith.
This is a northerner.
I think he's
Oh,
on...
yeah, there
is he on Love Island?
Yes.
Is that the...
It's once again woke gone mad. They've had to stick a northerner in there. And do you know what? It's interesting you say that, because it's obviously designed to be deliberately misleading, in that people will get excited and think, great, after Ian Duncan Smith showed all that promise and wrote that amazing book, which
Yes.
to my mind is the best book ever written, now he's entered into comedy. Well, he hasn't. It's a northerner. It's a northerner with a similar name.
Yes, well, okay, I think that's what must have happened to me, is I got slightly carried away by thinking it was Ian Duncan Smith and being very excited about that. But why don't I just posit another theory to you, Harriet? And it's this. Would you not say that all of comedy, but particularly those who got nominated, are inherently right-wing? Because comedy, if you really think about it, is a right-wing pursuit, okay? You do well in comedy, you get more money, and with the more money, you become richer. And as you become richer, you become more conservative. You become more right-wing. So actually, these nominees, although they might present themselves as left-wing, are in their first throes of becoming, signed, paid-up members of, say, the 1922 committee.
Well, I think you do have to be a member of Parliament in order to be in that committee, but yet
they could be MPs. Comedians have to do public speaking, as do members of Parliament.
That's true. Eddie Izzard was here not too long ago.
Yes, of course. There's Eddie Izzard. Eddie Izzard was very left wing, and now she's so right wing. She's trying to become a Labour MP.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think we've still got to watch out for Labour and Keir Starmer. Hasn't won me over yet.
Well, he sent me some more lion bars in the post, and I really do think if everyone gives him a good try, then he's just such a smashing bloke.
God. I mean, look, the thing is, I see what you're saying, but to me, you have these at least left-wing presenting comedians.
Yeah.
Now, that to me is not on. Look, I'm not saying my show should be in there, but my show should be in there. And I mean, not necessarily Producer Martin's working on a sort of Vampire Diaries show, and no one wants that.
No,
but
it's more sort of theatre come comedy show in the realms of comedic theatre. So I don't think it really was up for nomination. Is probably the main reason why it didn't get one.
Well, also because where's the political persuasion for that?
Right wing, really. If you're working anywhere near the arts, you're all right wing. I work in the arts. Now I'm a diversity correspondent.
You are our diversity correspondent. Apolitical, one could say.
Well,
a blank slate.
No, blank slates tend to be white.
Brown slate.
Let's not call him that.
No, brown slate feels racist.
It does a bit, doesn't it? Yes.
I'm just being technical. Why don't you tweet about it then, Eshaan?
No, it does not end well for us when tweets happen. Usually when Eshaan's involved.
It's not good when I tweet. But in any case, to Harriet's point, perhaps from the outside looking in, the comedy awards seem a bit woke. They put all these different types of protected characteristics on there: women, pregnant women, black people.
And Eshaan, coming from the world of comedy, do you have any insight as to who probably will win in your mind? A little tip off if anyone's looking for a flutter I don't know if you can gamble on it. Can you
So
gamble?
if anybody's looking for a plus at Flutter, of all these horses, and they're very horsey, quite horsey people.
Sure.
If you're going to put money on any horse, I'd put money on Julia Mastley at the Monkey Barrel. I think Julia Mastley's show.
Were you
That's
laughing?
the name of her show.
Oh, right. Okay. It's lots of laughter.
The name of her show is Julia Mastley. And she has been receiving rave reviews. And I think that this is the year of the clown, given what happened with Viggo Venn on Britain's Got Talent.
So you think it might be year of the clown?
Yes, I think it might be the year of the clown, which is why my money's on Julia Mastley.
Well, you know what? Rather a clown than a pregnant woman, I say.
Wow.
I'm glad we brought back Is It Woke? It's very important that we continue to pick up the wokeness that surrounds us, and we do it better than anyone else. So thank you, Eshaan Akbar.
Next time on a very spooky fine dining podcast, the season 1 finale, TGI Fridays the 13th. Oh, you betcha, pineapple's gonna hit the fan as Michael's son Juicy, or in this episode, Juice son Voorhees, goes on a murderous rampage and no one is safe. It gets real spooky, it gets real bloody, and not everyone's gonna make it to the end of the episode. Who will live, who will die? Listen to Fine Dining, the search for the most mediocre restaurant in America, break down a trip to TGI Fridays based on the atmosphere, the service, and the food, and try not to be scared to death. Hear the thrilling finale of Fine Dining, Wednesday, October 25th, wherever you get your podcasts.
And finally, ApologyWatch. After England's women let the entire country down by disgracefully losing to Spain in the
Women's World Cup?
Yes, that. I was very upset. Anyway, amazingly, our ApologyWatch section this week wasn't even about the England women apologising for their pathetic performance.
Harriet, they were really good. They got to the final and were narrowly beaten by a brilliant team.
That might mean something to someone who's watched them play before, Martin, but I watched almost all of that second half, and for nothing. What a waste of time. Anyway, it was actually the head of the Spanish FA who issued an apology. But why? Here's Eshaan to explain.
I'm so not sorry that it's made me feel sorry for the not apology I'm sorry about. So I'm sorry not sorry that the not nature of the sorry isn't sorry enough, or not.
I'd like to start this apology watch with apologising to producer Martin.
Oh,
Yes.
This is rare.
Yes.
What do you? What thing? Which of the things?
When he made me my coffee this morning, I didn't say thank you.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Martin, and thank you.
well, this is very polite.
Yes.
What's with? Why is this happening?
It's in the nature of the apology watch.
Was it a good coffee?
It was shit. It was shit, actually.
Right. Well,
Yes.
in that case,
But thank you.
In the spirit of ApologyWatch,
Yes.
I am sorry that the coffee was not to your liking.
Thank you.
Oh, right. I feel
Thank
like
you. About time.
Maybe that's
Thank
what
you.
you
The
have.
things you have to do to get an apology round here. Absolutely unbelievable.
Right. I walked into that, didn't I?
Do I have to apologise for anything?
If you want to, this is a safe space.
Okay, well, I guess I'm sorry for not being around the last couple of weeks.
Oh.
Yes.
But I had a great time away from you two. I had a lovely
What?
time. Feel refreshed.
No.
I'm happy.
Well, absence
Makes the heart go fonder.
Grow fonder.
Grow fonder.
I think.
Right.
After feeling
Well,
refreshed.
Yes, well, I don't know if I'm fonder of the both of you, but nevertheless, I'm here because man's got to eat. You know what I mean?
That's true. Now, there are actually a lot of people in the time that you've been away, Eshaan, that I think have to apologise, and some of them have apologised. But who are you focusing in on this week?
Well, this one particular apology I'm focusing on is from the president of the Spanish Football Federation, Luis Rubiales. Now, you may have seen the global event that was the Women's World Cup final. England women taking on Spain women. And England, in very typical England fashion, fell short at the final hurdle and lost to the Spanish.
They should just do it with men instead.
In any case, Luis Rubiales, the Spanish Football Federation president, was, of course, overjoyed and ecstatic. And as they were handing out the medals, he kissed Spanish football player Jenny Hermoso right on the lips.
Oh,
right
how romantic.
In front of this global audience of about 150 people watching this Women's World Cup.
So romantic.
Sorry, Eshaan, I'm not entirely familiar with all of the details, but they're not romantically engaged. They're not betrothed. They're not courting.
I don't believe they are, because Jenny Hermoso said on Instagram later that she didn't like it. She didn't like the kiss. So I don't know whether it wasn't passionate enough. Maybe he just didn't go in tongues. He just went in lips, you see.
It sounds to me like perhaps it was just another example of a man abusing his power and privilege.
Well, you would think that, because you're one of the saddest men I've ever come across. But in any case, Rubiales felt as though he had to apologise. He apologised. What did he say? He said it was without bad intention at a time with a lot of excitement. And in the moment I saw it as a natural, but outside a commotion has formed. So, you know what happens to men, when we get excited, we just do all sorts of bad things. So he apologised. But I'm trying to understand, is he apologising for kissing her on the lips, or was he supposed to kiss her somewhere else? What's he supposed to do? Where are you supposed to kiss someone these days? What's the rules?
There is another option there, Eshaan. You could just not kiss someone. That's always...
No.
But,
when you celebrate something...
what I'd like to say is, can you imagine all these romantic films that just would not have worked if the men had waited to be consensually kiss the woman?
Yes. Sleeping Beauty would still be asleep.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Do have to flag up the fact that this kiss was not at the end of a date. It was at the end of a very public...
The frog would still be a frog.
Well, again, the frog and the princess were not work colleagues or associates, as far as I'm aware.
The mermaid would still be a white woman.
I feel like we're crossing our metaphors here somewhat. Ariel has, I think, a bit of a kiss, but it's, again... not with the president of the association that she's working for.
Maybe it would make workplaces more fun.
What if people just kissed you? If your superiors just...
I'd say only when there's an audience present. Otherwise, what's the point?
Because the thing is, culturally also, here's the thing. Since we left Europe, I think we slightly forgot some of the European customs. The French, they like kissing on each cheek.
The Italians, very amorous.
Yeah, very amorous. They do a kiss on the forehead, then the chin, then each cheek to represent the cross.
Is that true?
And the Spanish, it just revolves around tortilla, doesn't it?
Yes, tortilla. That's why you do the lips, because it's like round. The Scandis, they do the Eskimo kiss with the nose.
Apparently you can't say Eskimo anymore.
Well, don't say it again, then.
Oh, is it Inuit?
I think you can just call it a nosy kiss.
What do the Germans do? The Germans kiss?
I think they just like a nice, strong handshake, don't they?
Yes, nice firm handshake. That's how they conceive.
Then let's not even get on to the Russians.
Yeah, let's not. But this is the thing. I don't understand what he's apologising for. I Mercedes said she didn't like it, but I'm presuming she didn't like the lack of passion kiss, because he just held her cheeks and kissed her on the lips like she was a baby.
No, Eshaan, you're giving her too much credit. She's one of these wokies who think that her work shouldn't be compromised by being treated like an object or something.
But she'd already finished playing football. She'd finished. Her shift was over.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, she'd finished. Yes. Finished playing football, now you're back to being a woman. That's how it works.
It's not like he ran onto the pitch and she was about to take a penalty and then kiss her on the lips. That would be unacceptable.
Yes, I just sort of feel that at any point this would have been a bad thing to do. And when a woman has just become a world champion, to undermine her moment like that is doubly bad.
You're speaking like someone who's never been kissed. When was the last time you kissed someone?
I have kissed many. I went to Cork not too long ago, and I kissed the Blarney Stone. That's one kiss there.
What about a human? Have you been kissed by a human?
Yes, my wife Jane and I have.
I don't want to hear about
this.
this.
No, we do.
No.
We have affection, and we decided to. We schedule that into our day now because it's important to keep
disgusting.
A physical relationship is very important to the success of a long-term relationship.
I think the people who are obsessed about this have no love and affection in their lives. That's what's happening. There's a real correlation between people who don't get kissed and people who do get kissed. And people who get kissed are absolutely fine.
It's another thing, isn't it, of not letting men have good old-fashioned fun.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, what is a man? Forget the question, what is a woman? What is a man? Is a man not allowed to kiss a woman in excitement after a World Cup final? Is a man not allowed to open the door for you? Is a man not allowed to walk you to your car after a date?
You're asking these questions like they're rhetorical. They're all, to my mind, quite simple. I think, first of all, no, he's not allowed to kiss a woman after she's just won the World Cup final. Yes, he is allowed to open the door. And what was the third one?
Walk them to the car.
Oh, yeah, well, if they're okay with it.
If a man buys you dinner, walks you to your car, right, and opens the door for you, the least he deserves is a kiss.
Well,
Wow, no, I don't know about that, Eshaan. I mean, I just think if some man tried to kiss me and I didn't want to, I'd probably knee him in the groin.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Harriet. But this is it, because you are a real woman. You stand up for yourself. They need to be babied and nannied. If Hermoso didn't want the kiss, she could have kneed him in the groin.
I think he was somewhat overlooking the fact that he is the president of the Spanish FA. So it could have... it might
She's
have
already won the World
like
Cup. He can't take the World Cup away from her. That's FIFA's. It's not the Spanish Football Federation's.
Maybe she could retrospectively knee him in the groin. I think maybe that should be... I'd quite like to watch that.
That could be allowed.
Yes,
yeah, that would be a good idea.
I'd be actually up for that. I'd be up for watching that.
Do you know
maybe the next final, there could be a little ceremony before the match where we all get to watch and in front of all those people and she knees him in the groin. I think that would be beautiful.
How about, the Spanish do that ball chasing or the tomato stuff.
Oh, yes. Looks very messy.
So maybe we could have Rubiales running through the town, being chased by Hermoso while we throw tomatoes at him. And then
I do actually, do you know what? I do think nothing brings people together like public humiliation.
Yes.
And actually, I think that could be quite lovely.
So I think we should take this to the Spanish government and the Spanish FA and let them know. So we add a cultural event to the Spanish calendar where Rubiales, the president, runs through a Spanish town whilst the locals throw tomatoes and Hermoso chases him down and knees him in the groin.
You know what, Eshaan? I agree with you. It's actually a great suggestion.
Now that is the beautiful game. Well, that's it for this week. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, buy tickets to the live show on the 7th of September at kingsplace.co.uk and follow the Out of Context Non-Censored Twitter account. Also, keep those questions coming to noncensoredpodcast@gmail.com. With thanks to Rosie Holt, Brendan Murphy, Eshaan Akbar and Ed Morrish. I'm Harriet Langley-Swindon and we'll be back next week with more Non-Censored.